Now, if you're thinking about moving to Charlotte, North Carolina, or Fort Mill, South Carolina, or anywhere near there, you need to stop and watch this because these 7 mistakes I'm about to talk about could end up costing you thousands of dollars or leave you in the wrong neighborhood and waste years of your life because you just weren't in the right place. And the worst part, almost no one talks about these things. And if you stick around until the end, I'm also going to reveal mistake number 7, which is one I almost made for my family and I this past spring when we moved to the greater Charlotte region from another place in the greater Charlotte region. And you do not want to miss that. I'll help you avoid that and give you the inside scoop. Now, my name is James Lames. If you don't know who I am, I run this channel all about relocating to Charlotte, North Carolina and Upper South Carolina. And if you're looking or thinking about moving here to our area where my family and I live, go ahead and reach out. There's a phone number on the screen in front of you, or in the description below, there's other forms of contact info like a private Calendly Zoom session with me that we can talk about your buying and selling needs. I get calls, texts, emails, Zoom calls every single day from folks like you, calling, texting off my YouTube channel, just trying to figure out what their next best steps should be, whether that's buying a home, selling in this area, or investing in property here. And I would love to help you on your journey wherever you are at. Now, with that being said, I want to go ahead and start with this first mistake, and this is one of the biggest ones I think I see across the entire region from people moving here, and that is not understanding commute time. So this might sound simple and like, oh, commute time, whatever, but this is a big deal because if you have to work in Ballantyne, let's say, and you find a really cool home in, let's say, Concord, North Carolina, that's going to be an insane commute every day for you. And if you don't understand the traffic patterns, what times you're going to work, and maybe some of the back roads you need to go on, then you're going to end up being miserable, just saying. So you need to make sure you do your research on that. And if you have specific questions on the distance between one place and another, typical traffic patterns that you cannot get on Google Maps, it can give you an idea, but it really does not give you the inside local scoop. Let me know, shoot me a text. I'm happy to give you the inside scoop on that. But I will say that Charlotte's traffic is not like New York City bad. It's not like Chicago bad, but it can be deceptively bad during rush hour. I mean, 10 miles can take up to 45 minutes sometimes if you do not understand the traffic patterns and the times of day, and you do not plan for where you're living versus where you need to work every day. Popular suburbs like Fort Mill, Huntersville, and Waxhaw can vary dramatically in drive times depending on the time of day and depending on which route you take. And you don't want to feel like you're stuck in traffic every single day, especially if you moved here for a better life. So if you want to get a rough idea without reaching out to me or a local, go ahead and use Google Maps, the Depart At tool. You can easily find that on your Google Maps, and you can find out when you're going to leave. I like the Waze app as well. That's helpful. And other than that, let's move on to mistake number 2 that I see a lot of people making, and that is buying sight unseen without representation. So a lot of relocation buyers, for whatever reason, when they talk to sellers or even new construction builders online, they see online photos, they talk to a builder agent, which, bless their heart, they want to sell homes, but they make it sound like their community is the end all be all, it's the greatest place, and all of them say that, and all of them think that, which might be true. But if you don't have someone that has your best interests at mind, which is basically a buyer agent, you're not going to get a clear picture of what an area really is like. And especially if you only go off of what you see online, I highly recommend, I always tell my clients, come in town, spend a weekend here, spend a week here if you can, or maybe 2 or 3 weekends before you go under contract on a home, before you make an offer, or at least close on a home, because you don't know what an area is really like. You don't know the vibe it's going to give off, compared to what you like and what you really want in an area until you get here yourself. So get here yourself. A local agent can help you, understand things at a website and pictures, and a builder representative never will be able to, and you don't want to move, then feel blindsided by your surroundings. So that is mistake number 2 that you do not want to make. Please do not make that mistake. It might sound like I'm trying to twist your arm to do that, but I promise I'm not. I've just seen too many people get taken advantage of by builders, builder representatives, builder agents, and they're great people. I have a lot of great relations with builder agents, but it's really good to have representation. And especially if you don't know an area, it's just best to have someone looking out for your best interest. And most of the time, the commission that the buyer agent receives is paid by the seller, and we can talk more about that. Number 3 mistake I see a lot is people either not researching school zones enough or over researching school zones and different things, even if you don't have kids, because good school zones lead to higher appreciation, better resale in the future when you're looking to move. And it's really vital to understand where you're going to be, especially if you have kids, because sometimes a district can vary greatly from a district that's right next to it. A really good high school can be next to a district that has not so great rated high school. When I say great, I mean rated well on, all the different sites that look at the schools and give them ratings and all that stuff. And I'll go ahead and name drop those. That's greatschools.com, niche.com, greatschools.net. Did I say that one? And schooldigger.com. That's the last one. Okay, those are the 3 websites I recommend to look at if you're looking for different schools ratings, different crime ratings, different things like that. Those give you an overall picture that's really good. So that's the 3rd mistake. All right, and just to remind you at the end, I'm gonna reveal mistake number 7, which is one I almost made for my family and I. And if I wasn't an agent, I would have made it. So be sure to stick around. I'm going to reveal that at the end. But before we get into that, let's go ahead on to mistake number 4 that I see a lot of people make. And that is assuming you can get a house without making a plan beforehand. And that was kind of a tongue twister. But all I'm saying in that is that when you're buying a house, I think a lot of people think, and I see a lot of people just thinking, oh my gosh, whenever I think I'm ready to buy or whenever I list my home for sale, then I'll reach out to a real estate agent, or then I'll start looking online, or then I'll get really serious about making an offer. But by then, sometimes you're too late. And I see people losing out on offers because they didn't have a pre-approval letter. They had a pre-qualification letter. Pre-approval letter takes longer. You have to get more documents and stuff. And so it's really important to start planning ahead, get involved with a really good mortgage broker. I have a great recommendation for one if you need one who's local. I don't make any kickback or commission by recommending them. They're just a great local company. They finance my home personally, and they're just amazing. So if you have interest in hearing from them, let me know. I'll send you that info over. But it's really important to talk to a mortgage broker or your lender ahead of time before you list your home for sale in another state to buy in another state. It's just really important to make a plan ahead of time, and that's what I'm here for. That's what real estate agents are here for. Even if you don't use me and you want to use another agent, make sure you start talking to them in advance. I would say at least 6 months before you plan on buying a home. You need to make sure you have a plan in place financially. Make sure you have just different idea of where you want to move, start looking at areas and kind of just exploring the part of the country you're wanting to move to, in this case, Charlotte. All right, that's mistake number 4. That's a big one. Mistake number 5 is misjudging the North Carolina taxes versus South Carolina taxes, because they do vary greatly, actually. North Carolina property taxes are generally a bit more, but you generally have more of the citywide taxes grouped into your taxes, like trash and fire fees and different things are often within that, Charlotte city tax for property. Whereas in South Carolina, you generally have a lower property tax rate, but you have to pay separate for some of those fees. South Carolina ends up being cheaper anyway, usually, but it is important to know the difference. And another big thing is if you plan on buying a second home in the Carolinas or Charlotte, meaning you own one in another state and you plan on that being your primary residence, then having a second home here, maybe on the lake, maybe, near the city, uptown or something, or maybe, down on the lake in Columbia or something like that. It's really important to know that if you own a second home in South Carolina, your property taxes are going to be almost as triple as much as they would be if you own a primary residence. So it's really important to know what to do in that case and what forms to fill out so that you can avoid those other fees. And I can give you more info on that if you'd like. Shoot me a text. Now, the 6th mistake I see people make is a really big one too, and that is believing that Charlotte is all the same. But what people do not understand about the greater Charlotte metro and upper South Carolina is that there is so much diversity here in people, in location, and neighborhoods, and the overall vibe and growth, depending on what suburb you move to and are looking at. I mean, Just for example, Fort Mill, South Carolina versus Lake Wylie versus Lake Norman, Indian Trail versus Huntersville. They're all so different. They have such a different feel, and some are very family oriented, while as some are very nice for maybe a young professional. And other places in South Carolina or in outskirts of Charlotte may be really good for retirees if you know where to look. So you don't want to be a retiree who actually moves to a party town or a young couple who lands in a 55 plus neighborhood. You just want to make sure you are aligned with the right area based on where you are at in life. Now, I'm going to talk about that seventh mistake I see a lot of people make. And this is one that I honestly would have made if I was not a licensed agent. And this is why it's so important, back to one of the earlier mistakes, to hire a really good agent. But basically the last one is to hire a very relocation savvy real estate agent. Now, this might sound like I'm just promoting myself and getting you to call, but I'm not. It is really important. Even if you don't work for me, seriously, like, reach out to someone who knows this area, who's a local guide, who has worked with relocation buyers in the past, and please, please, please work with them. Let them work for you. Let them do the heavy lifting. Let them be your guide. I mean, have you ever seen anyone climb Mount Everest without preparing it beforehand for months, at least years probably, to get to the top and reach that peak? Absolutely not. And it's the same with buying a home. I mean, this is the biggest purchase you're probably going to make in your life. And it's the same with selling a home. This is the biggest sale, one of the biggest sales you're ever going to make in your life. And if you try to do that without an expert, you are going to miss out maybe on tens of thousands of dollars. I've seen hundreds of thousands, even if your home is in the $1 million price range, and it's just a no-go. If I would have bought my home without knowing what I know now, I bought a new construction home. If I didn't know a really good mortgage broker that I worked with who could close my home in, I think 22 days is what we closed in, maybe even less. It might have been like less than 20 days or something like that. Then I wouldn't have been able to buy this home, and I wouldn't have been able to know how to negotiate a really great deal, I believe under the market value for our home. And I wouldn't have done it if I wouldn't have known the things I know now as an agent. And if I was completely ignorant and didn't know anything about real estate and about negotiating here in the Carolinas, then I probably could have missed out on tens of thousands of dollars, honestly. And I probably wouldn't have been able to close on this home because I'm going to be able to close quick enough. We had a really short timeline, and my lender was able to get it done really quick. So you do not want to end up in that place where you're lost and confused, or you end up getting taken advantage of by other people who are working with an expert. All right, so all that being said, if you are thinking about relocating to Charlotte, remember, the right team, the right plan, and the right timing can end up making or breaking your move. And these 7 mistakes are all avoidable if you know what to look out for. And once again, I get calls and texts and emails every single day from people like you just looking to know more about the Carolinas or looking to buy a home here. I get calls and texts from people on my property tours looking to buy a home in a new construction community here, or just looking to know more about different suburbs and which one might be the best fit for them on their journey of living life, right? In their career and in their family and all those good things. And other than that, friends, if you do need help, my phone number is on the screen in front of you. Shoot me a call, give me a text today. Seriously, I'm not one to pressure. I just want to help you and just be a guide for you on this journey, because I know how difficult it can be to navigate it without someone who knows what they're doing and without somebody who knows the area that you're actually looking to live in for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, maybe the rest of your life. Now, if you like this video, do not forget to push the thumbs up button. It would help us out a ton. Like it, subscribe to our channel for more content about the Carolinas, buying, selling, investing in real estate here, money, finance, property tours, community tours, everything in between. It would mean a lot to my wife and I if you just join us on this journey of providing for our community, giving knowledge about our area and our home of the Carolinas. And other than that, we hope to show you around town very soon. And if not, we at least hope to see you in the next video. Talk soon.